The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is probably one of the most significant legislative changes that we've seen in recent times. Just at a headline level, I think what the first 300 days have shown us is all stakeholders, whether it's various judicial authorities or whether it's the legislature for that matter, have given fairly purposive and constructive interpretation to the provisions of the code. To ensure that it's implemented in spirit without really frustrating the interests of any party. So any discussion on the IBC obviously merits a discussion on the Innoventive case. Because it was the first IBC matter that went to the Supreme Court, a very detailed judgment was given by the court because it wanted lower tribunals to take note of the findings and the reasoning behind its order. Key takeaway from this judgment is that the IBC is indeed a complete code in itself, and if there is any conflict of provisions, it will supersede state statutes. One very important aspect, that is timelines, has already been discussed and considered before both the NCLAT as well as ultimately the Supreme Court in the JK Jute case. The fact that the initial time periods of 14 days and 7 days, the Supreme Court has said, are directory, I think is encouraging, because they've also in the same vein cautioned that the 7-day rectification period, while directory, should not be abused by the borrowers. What is also encouraging is the NCLAT's firm view that the 270-day period is mandatory. So I think the third key judgment that is worth noting is the Mobilox judgment, where the court took a view that the term dispute has to be looked at in a liberal manner. It need not be limited to a higher standard of there being existing court proceedings, but as long as there's substantive evidence of the debt in question being in dispute between the parties, and that could be evidenced by even correspondence, for instance, that would be good enough for the borrower to claim that there is a dispute in relation to this debt. Again, the purpose is twofold. One is that operational creditors should not try and use vexatious and frivolous claims or try and use the IBC as a pure recovery tool in these kinds of scenarios. But equally, while it gave that purposive interpretation, it also cautioned borrowers that they cannot again make frivolous claims on the existing of dispute per se, and there must be a genuine dispute that has to emerge from the correspondence in question. To me, for the most part, these key judicial pronouncements that we've seen, these are very encouraging early signs of how the code is expected to play out in future. And I think it does set the ground for the code to be game changing.